That's bad.
Alright, we're back to work on this old turd today. We finally got some parts that showed up. We got our new yoke from Speedway that should allow us to reuse the stock drive shaft that came with the truck. Here is our U-joints, front and rear. Here's the new plug wires. You can see they are very high quality eBay, like $25 spark plug wires. These are the same ones that I had on the ARC-7 that I showed you in the last video that I wish I'd just used. And then we also have the steering shaft. So this thing's already put up a fight today. When I got it, it was, let's see, about that long, and it would not move at all. So you can see them. Whoa, okay, kind of a spoiler there. You can see the marks right there. I had this thing in the vise, and I just started hammering the heck out of it, and finally got it to start moving. And it had like these weld rivets there, kind of like the one in that counterweight, that I thought maybe was welding the two shafts together. Turns out it wasn't, so that was kind of pointless. But these ones that it drilled out did kind of recess in a little bit, like a, I don't know, 20 thousandths, and it was just enough to like grind against the side of this to make it just a mother effort to move. So drilled that out and got it all loosely fixed. And then I found out what the actual problem was. You can't really see it anymore, but this shaft was from like here up, it was bent over like 1/8 of an inch. So hammered it back straight and seems to work really well now. So we can get this thing tossed on the truck and hopefully cure all, and hopefully cure all of our ailments. I have to notch the thing up there for the bolt, and I might have to, yeah, I might have to trim this a little bit, perhaps. Yeah, I might trim like ½ inch off of it or something. 'Cause, I mean, it's bottomed out right now, so there's plenty of like interference to catch. So yeah, I might trim that inner one like ½ an inch or so, make it a little bit easier to get on. But once it's on, we should be in business. Not really looking forward to putting that header back on because it has the exhaust bolted up to it, so there's a lot of weight to move around there. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut about ½ inch off this thing and then should be back in business. Yeah, chop saw. Alright, got that cut, filed the edges, so hopefully, oh yeah, nice and easy. So, got that flat side straight up and down, put the bolt up there. The shaft coming out of the steering box there has a flat side, and in here has a flat side right there, so those got to match up. It makes it a lot easier. Look at that. The thing practically slides right in place. So, now I've got to make sure that the steering wheel matches before I start grinding. It is completely upside down. There we go. So that bolt has to be to the inside. Right now it's hitting on the spark plug boot that ripped off. These darn things just do not like to come apart, do they? Jeez Louise. Gal, oh come on. Jesus. This little bastard. Now, I've got to not, actually it looks like this one was already notched. you can kind of see the ridge right there, where it looks like this one's already been notched. Oh, let me see if I can get a bolt in it. Yeah. Wow. Check that out. Alright, that saves me a couple minutes. So, I think I'm going to get the header in place, put the plug wires in place, and then try and put the steering shaft in.
I think that's probably our move, eh?
Ow! Let's see if... Oh, that's a miracle. The stock steering shaft, we had to loosen the headers and let it drop down a little bit to get it in place. So that's a freaking miracle. Alright, it took a little bit of finessing, but we got the steering shaft in place. Everything's looking pretty good except the inner shaft. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Can you see that? There we go. This inner shaft is a touch sloppy in it. So, not really sure what I want to do about that just yet. Like, I don't think that's a very big deal. Like, it can't physically spin or not grab, but it is just ever so slightly annoying. Like, the wheel, because of that, has this slop. But, like, it turns good. It just, like, that should be like that, not, 10 degrees. But, like I said, not really a huge deal, just annoying. I bet if I was able to get the inner shaft out and notice that it was bent first, I wouldn't have had to grind those like welds off, and I bet it would have fit perfect. So I probably did that, just not knowing that the inner shaft was bent first. But at least we got that kind of bigger ticket thing knocked off the checklist. And I am able to get that on and off without undoing the header, which is sweet. So now I'm going to throw the plug wires on. I already got this side on. This second one back, kind of a bummer up against this primary tube. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to toss the plug wires on this side so that it looks like a complete engine bay. And then start throwing the U-joints in that. Once the drive shaft is in it, I just have to tighten these fuel lines, which I should do real quick while I'm up here. Throw the throttle cable on it, belt, and we're just about ready to fire this thing, which I think we'll try to fire it in the next video with this, just because all the stuff that's left is going to be tedious and take a little while. Alright, got the throttle cable on. It moves nice and freely. The problem is that the throw for the throttle pedal is hitting the floor. So it only goes to like maybe a third, half throttle, something like that. Which isn't a big deal. I can unbolt those 3 bolts right there, pull this whole like bar off. So the problem right now is that the pedal's hitting the floor, so I can unbolt those, and that bar that holds the cable and where the pedal is kind of on an angle, so I can just bend those tighter so that the pedal comes up more. Pretty easy fix. I had to do it, let's see, RX-7, that blue Camaro I did. Pretty much every car that I LS swap, I seem to have to do that. Alright, got the pedal all bolted back in. You can see how much higher it is. It used to be like way down there. So when we go full throttle here, you can see that it goes full throttle out of the throttle body, just like God intended. So that is a few of the bigger ticket items off the list, and probably the biggest one still left to go is the drive shaft. And my dad was actually just here because he had these 1-inch drop blocks at his place that came off neighbor Lloyd's S10. We had to lift the back of that to clear some big old meat. And he was like, here, saw you mentioning drop blocks. We got these ones left over. And I was like, might need a little more than 1 inch, but I appreciate it. It certainly doesn't help that these are little 26s. So 28s would fill the wheel well, a little bit better. But this thing's still high. Hello. I think it kind of fits the truck. There was someone who commented on the last video saying that they wish it wasn't so ratty, and like, it's dirty, sure, but it's not, I wouldn't call it ratty per se. It's just flat black and it's dirty. But once it's all cleaned up, it's not too bad, really. And by the time we're done with it, the thing's gonna be sweet. Oh, anyway, what I was getting at was he stopped here to drop those off, and I was like, hey, while you're here, actually, you're like the U-joint master. You want to help me with this drive shaft? And he was checking it out, and it occurred to him. I never even noticed because I didn't look closely enough. Plus, I'm kind of an idiot. He was like, these are the factory U-joints. These have never been replaced, which is crazy because this truck's from 1986, so they're at least more than 10 years old. So they have like the, oh, what is it called? It's this, like, if you've dealt with it, you know what it's called. But it's like this glue, basically, that you have to heat up, and as you heat it up, it expands out of the, like a crack in the U-joint. So we have to, he took it over to his place because he has the torches. I just have like a little, my torches have been empty for 6 years. I never use them. Plus the OGs know his nickname. So he ran the drive shaft back to his place to heat it up, get that stuff out of there. And then he's gonna bring it back here, pound in the new ones real quick, which, here is our new yoke. Ooh, fancy. Like I said, this is from Speedway, speedwaymotors.com. I wish they were a sponsor. And then I did a bunch of researching, Googling all sorts of stuff, praying to the witches of yesteryear on which U-joints I needed. Came up with that one and this one to adapt from our stock drive shaft to this yoke. Fingers crossed it works. We'll see. And then once that doesn't work, and I have to order 6 other different U-joints to try and find the one that does work, even though, just for the record, I did measure everything, the distance, the diameters, all that sorts of stuff. So I'm pretty confident that those will work. Anyway, once drive shaft is done, throttle cable's done, really just splash some fuel in it, finish wiring a couple things, toss a battery in it, put a tune in it. The belt isn't necessary right now, but I still need to get one. And then once we have a tune in it, or like some sort of bass tune, we can fire this thing up. Like, this thing's ridiculously close. I am so excited to get this thing done and ready to go. And someone said in, I think, the last video with the truck, that they bolted their alternator right to the head and then used like a piece of angle iron to secure it. I thought that was a brilliant idea. You'd have to get some sort of spacer or something, but I still thought it was a really good idea. But I don't mind using this. It's strong, it lines it up properly, and it's pretty light. Oh, and we got to put coolant in it. I wish we could just put water in it, but freaking, it is like 29 degrees out right now. All right, got all the plug wires on. That back one's pretty close to the steering shaft, but I think I've got it in a way that's, it's not going to get caught when it turns, and it's not going to get burnt on the headers. I mean, time will tell. This one, I got pushed on a little bit more, that it's just barely touching. But that's all taken care of. And look who showed up with the drive shaft.
Your mama.
Well,
Oh, close.
that says more about you than me. You think all the bearings are still in place?
I don't know. I was hoping it'd slide over a little.
Yeah, it's not really wanting to. Alright, got the U-joint in place. Have to get this clip on, then we can smack this one in a little bit more to get that clip on. Perfect. We got a socket. It's over by the oil jug. Still nice and happy.
Put that in there. That in there, and the damn thing went all the way in.
Alright, I'll set the camera down so I can help with the press again. Well, actually, I guess I can put it on the tripod, huh? That's kind of why I bought that thing.
Clear it.
Yeah.
Release it a little and flip it to the other side. Yeah, right. Learned that from one of Ed's yesterday. Fucking beating the piss out of it, trying to get it down in there farther. Fucking kept breaking it, having to get different clips.
It's already
Then
seated?
noticed, yeah, they were in. They're just
Wired.
bad clips.
Oh, looks like it's sitting in there a ways.
Yeah, that one popped way in there.
Flip it over and smack the other side, just
Yep.
to let it seat more. It's not coming out. Good enough for the truck it's going in.
Yep, I decided to do too. Forgot about that.
Yeah, the party U-joint. Luckily, this one's half the work of the other one. And then we can lift it up, get that tossed in.
We only got to put 2 of them in.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Half the work, all the pay. U-joints are like a puzzle.
Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. See if I can squeeze it in right here and then do the press on the other one.
Yeah, the problem with this vise is sometimes when it goes out too far, it gets like hung up.
Yep. All right, doing great. Yeah, this one's on the inside, isn't it?
Perfect.
We gotta drive Miss Daisy in there.
Oh, I just took care of the socket too. Idiot. Put the 11/16 to work.
Trust me.
I trust you. I think that's good. All right, I'll start lifting the truck up.
Don't strain yourself.
I'm doing the hard work now, the heavy lifting. Ah, fuck. The U-joint straps are on the floor. Oh, you can at least see if it clears. Whew. What?
Gotta put the greaser in first.
Oh, yeah.
This one ain't got it.
All right, drive shaft is in the truck. It looks like there's a lot of stick out because, you know, there is, but right now the end of the yoke is right about here, and when it's fully seated, it's, I think, right there. So like 1.5 inches. When this thing's on its weight and articulating, it's not going to go forward 1.5 inches. So we should be good. All right, we got a bunch of stuff knocked out on this truck. New steering shaft, plug wires, all that's hooked up. Pretty much everything's good up here. Just need a belt. Finally got the throttle cable in. Modified the pedal, so that's working. Pops came over, helped me with the drive shaft. And there's a few more things we need to take care of on it. Get the battery installed, the wires to the toggle switches, like the main power wires. But my little salamander heater is completely out of fuel, and it's like 20 degrees out, so it's getting cold really fast. And I feel like this is a great place to call it for today's video. So yeah, we've been making great progress on this thing. I mean, we've only been building it for like 3 weeks, I think. And we got the whole drivetrain completely taken care of, just a little bit of wiring left to do. Might have to mess with the fuel fittings coming off the tank, because like I kind of have those rigged up. I think they'll work, but I wouldn't bet any money on it. Might have to get some like compression fittings to put on the lines back there. But aside from that, I think everything else is looking good. Heck yeah, man. I am so stoked. So we are really close to maxed out on our goal budget, which is a little less than $3,800. If you guys don't remember, the point of this truck is back in 1994, Hot Rod Magazine did a project car called the Cheap Thrills Dart, trying to go 12s for $2,000. They ended up going 1260s for like $1,800. And I thought it'd be fun to try to do the same thing in today's economy. I think if I was trying to pinch every single penny, I could have done this a lot cheaper. I think realistically, to get to where I'm at now, I mean, even just the motor, if I had just bought a beat up old truck with a 4.8 or a 5.3 and pulled the motor, scrapped the truck, probably could have got the motor for free. That's what I did with Jack. Jack's 5.3 was free out of that Trailblazer. I mean, that would have saved us $1,200 on our budget. So that alone puts us at like $2,500. So I think that this is really, really doable for a lot less. Like buying the headers, the steering shaft, things like that. I could have used stock manifolds and notched it, or sat the engine offset a little bit to clear, or move the steering column over a little bit to clear the stock shaft. Like there's a bunch of stuff I could have done to make this significantly cheaper, but when you're working with a budget, why not use the budget that you're allotting? So that's kind of where I'm at on that. I think realistically, to get to this point, we could have got here for easy $2,500. But anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sharing the videos with your friends. It means a ton. If you want any merch, that's always the first link in the description below. We got some Project Dime a Dozen stickers. I think I have a shirt up there. Everything that helps out with the channel. There's Jack Black stickers and shirts. There's a bunch of stuff. Go check it out. That's always first link in the description below. So yeah, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing, clicking that bell, and I will see you next time.